Hi everybody, welcome to Theo and Olaf. My name is Irene. With me is Olaf, our Samoyed doggy. And today we'll be talking about how much it costs to actually own a Samoyed. And we'll be giving you our numbers, how much it costs to own Olaf. But a lot of the cost really depends on where you live, what type of food you choose to feed your dog, the type of enrichment activities. Overall, I would say that owning a Samoyed is not cheap. So here's a breakdown of the costs. Let's talk about the cost of getting a Samoyed in the first place. So sometimes you can find a Samoyed at a shelter or a rescue, but I would say for the most part that's very rare. Most people will get a Samoyed puppy from a reputable breeder. And the benefit of getting a puppy from a reputable breeder is that they have their health clearances in place. So these puppies are often from AKC champion dogs, so they're pretty much guaranteed to be healthy dogs in good condition. And I would say the average cost for these puppies are around $3,000, and sometimes they can go upwards of $5,000, even $6,000. Olaf was a whopping $5,000 and $500, and that was all paid in cash. And some breeders also make a difference between pet puppies and show puppies. They're both from championship dogs. The only difference is that show puppies have some minor characteristics that would place them better for showing, but they're both great dogs, but the show puppies would cost more. With pet puppies, you do get limited registration with the AKC. What that means is that your puppy will be registered with the AKC. However, if your puppy becomes an adult, has a puppy of their own, those puppies will not be able to register with the AKC. And of course, when you get your Samoyed puppy, there's miscellaneous items you'd want to get as well, including a crate, a playpen, toys, food, and I would roughly say that would add up to about $500 to start. So we're talking about $3,500 to $6,000 to start when you first get your Samoyed puppy. Now let's talk about the ongoing cost of owning a Samoyed. I would say that food is probably the biggest expense for Olaf, and the cost of food will really depend on how much food your Samoyed eats, how much they weigh, the quality of food that you opt for. And if you choose kibble, that's probably going to be a lot cheaper for you. If you want more quality food like fresh food or a raw diet, that's going to cost a lot more. Olaf is on a raw diet and his food costs about $260 a month. On top of that, Olaf also gets plenty of treats and chews, so I would say that's around $40, give or take, every month. So we're talking about $300 a month in terms of food for an adult Samoyed. Then there's pet insurance. I highly recommend getting pet insurance for your puppy even before they arrive. That way they are covered in case any illnesses or accidents happen later on. So Olaf is 2 years old and his insurance is about $982 for a year. We do have a multi-pet discount because Olaf has his cat brother Theo. So his insurance is about $883 for the year. That's about $75 a month. Next, we have the annual checkup with the veterinarian. And I would say that would cost about $200 to $300 a year. That includes their wellness checkup and then any vaccinations that they may need. So that's about $25 a month. One thing I should warn you is that if you have a Samoyed puppy, they probably have a very sensitive tummy, so you may need to see the vet more often during their younger age. Then there are other expenses that are more optional and vary in costs. So toys is a big one. There's a huge range of different toys that you can get your dog. And then there's also training, which I highly recommend for your Samoyed. So there's a lot of different options when it comes to training. I highly recommend doing either a one-on-one type of training or a board and train, but both can be very expensive. For one-on-one training, the sessions can range from $1,000 to $2,000. For a board and train, it can go anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, so be wary of that. There's also different types of classes your dog can do, from obedience training classes to enrichment. So those are other things you probably want to consider for your Sammy. And also, if you have a tendency to go on vacation or to go out of town, there's also boarding costs as well. Finally, one large expense that we have for Olaf is his grooming appointments. As many of you know, Samoyeds have a large double coat, and it's pretty hard to maintain. You gotta make sure that you brush them thoroughly so that they don't get mats in their fur. And a lot of Samoyed owners opt to groom themselves because sometimes they're afraid that a groomer might shave their fur on accident. But for us, bathing Olaf, brushing him, grooming him can be very physically intensive. So that's why we choose to have him go to the groomers to take care of that. So for a high-end grooming service, you can expect to pay upwards of $200, even more. We opt to go to places where it's a little bit cheaper. They may not be as detailed with certain things, but we try to aim it so that it's closer to the $100 $120 range. So that's roughly $60 a month. So overall, it costs about $460 for Olaf, and that doesn't include things like training or toys. So it is a huge amount of money. Granted, Olaf does get a little bit of kickback or reimbursement through affiliate partnerships, so that's great. But overall, owning a Sammy is not cheap. So if you're considering getting a Sammy and you're not financially stable or in between jobs, you might want to consider getting a Sammy for later. So hopefully you found this video to be useful to you. If you have a Sammy, I'd be curious to know what your numbers are. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching.